Never respond to a Thanksgiving text from an unknown number. Hello, I'm Josh, and I wish I had ignored that message. Maybe then, I wouldn't have to live in fear every Thanksgiving. It started innocently enough. The night before Thanksgiving, I received a text from a number I didn't recognize. It read, "Thank you for everything. See you tomorrow night." At first, I thought it was just a wrong number. People make mistakes, especially around the holidays. I didn't reply and didn't think much of it. But about an hour later, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a call from the same unknown number. When I answered, all I heard was static and a faint, distorted voice repeating, "See you tomorrow night." I hung up immediately, unease creeping over me. I tried blocking the number, but the calls kept coming, one after another, each more unsettling than the last. Sometimes, it was just breathing. Other times, it was that same phrase, "See you tomorrow night." I told myself it was just a prank. Someone messing with me. But as the night wore on, the calls became less random. At 11 p.m., I heard my name whispered through the static. At midnight, the voice added, "It's almost time, Josh." I barely slept that night. The next morning, I tried to shake off the fear. It was Thanksgiving, and my family was coming over for dinner. I busied myself cleaning the house and cooking, but I couldn't stop glancing at my phone, half expecting it to buzz again. It didn't. For most of the day, everything seemed normal, and I started to convince myself it really was just a harmless prank. Until the sun went down. Around 6 p.m., as my family gathered around the table, my phone buzzed again. Another text. "I'm here. Look outside." My heart stopped. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't help myself. I got up from the table and walked to the front window. The street was dark and empty, but just as I was about to turn away, I saw it, a figure standing under the streetlight. It was hard to make out any details from that distance, but something about them was deeply wrong. Their posture was rigid, their head tilted unnaturally to one side. They didn't move, didn't wave, just stood there staring at my house. I stepped back from the window, my hands shaking. My mom noticed my pale face and asked if I was okay. I lied, saying I wasn't feeling well. I didn't want to scare anyone. But I couldn't eat. I couldn't stop thinking about that figure outside. By 8 p.m., the calls started again. This time, I didn't answer. The voicemail notifications piled up, each one just a few seconds long, filled with static and that same low, rasping voice, "See you tomorrow night." But it wasn't tomorrow night anymore. It was Thanksgiving night. I tried to ignore it, focusing on my family as they laughed and shared stories. But then, there was a loud knock at the door. Everyone fell silent. My dad got up to answer it, but something in my gut told me not to let him. I bolted to the door first, peeking through the peephole. No one was there. I opened the door a crack, just enough to see the empty porch. My dad grumbled about kids playing pranks and shut the door. But as I locked it, I glanced out the window again, and the figure was closer. They were now standing at the edge of my driveway, their face obscured by shadow. My stomach churned. Whoever it was, they were getting bolder. At 10 p.m., my family began to leave. I wanted to beg them to stay, but I couldn't explain why without sounding insane. As soon as the last car pulled away, the house felt impossibly quiet. I double-checked all the doors and windows, locking each one tightly. But no matter how secure I made the house, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. At 11:30, the power went out. The house plunged into darkness, except for the faint glow of my phone. Another text appeared. "I'm closer now. Let me in." I heard footsteps on the porch. My heart raced as I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and crept toward the front door. The footsteps stopped, replaced by a soft tapping on the window next to me. Slowly, I turned my head and saw it. A face. But not just any face. It was my face. Twisted, distorted, with a wide, unnatural grin and hollow, black eyes. It pressed against the glass, its breath fogging the window as it whispered, "Thank you for everything." I stumbled back, my vision blurring with tears. The thing outside began pounding on the window, harder and harder, until cracks spiderwebbed across the glass. I ran to my room, locking the door behind me. The pounding continued, now at the front door, the walls, the windows, all around me, as if it was everywhere at once. Then, silence. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up to sunlight streaming through the curtains. Everything was back to normal. The doors were intact, the windows unbroken. It was as if nothing had happened. Except for one thing. On my phone was a final text. "See you next Thanksgiving." Now, every Thanksgiving, I wait for the message. I know it's coming. And I know, someday, I'll have to answer the door.